Hi, Mr. Murphy. This is Mark Roskazov. Nice to meet you. So you were telling me earlier about how people where you live at used to grow tobacco, and they had small farms of a few hundred acres each, and how you got bought up. Would you mind telling me about that in detail, please?
The tobacco buyout?
Yes. Tell me about. You're from Kentucky, correct?
Correct.
Where are you from in Kentucky?
Monroe County.
Monroe County. So I am talking to Troy Murphy in what county again?
Monroe.
Monroe County. Monroe County. Okay. Tell me about how the tobacco industry used to be in Troy County and how it is now.
Well, when I was growing up, everybody raised tobacco. It was a big thing during the summer. Everybody worked for somebody growing tobacco in the cutting, housing, all that good stuff.
So you would say it was pretty much the main industry in Monroe County, Kentucky.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right. So how big was your farm?
The farm, it's roughly 1,000 acres.
1,000 acres. Okay. How long did your family grow tobacco?
Before I was born.
Okay.
Long time.
Would you say your grandfather grew tobacco?
Yeah.
What about his dad?
No, it would have been my grandfather.
So all right. So starting with about your grandpa, so what? He probably moved there and bought some land, started growing tobacco. Would you say it's accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. How old were you when you stopped growing tobacco?
Maybe 13, 14.
Okay. So basically, you're talking about 3 generations, 2.5 generations of tobacco growers. Would you say?
Yeah.
All right. So your family's growing tobacco. You had about 1,000 acres. You're growing tobacco. Who'd you sell to?
Well, you would take it to a warehouse, and they would come through, weigh it, look at the grade, how good it is, and then they would pay you by the pound.
Okay. So this warehouse would basically buy the tobacco from you,
Yeah.
and then they'd sell it to what, the manufacturers?
Well, it was Phillip Morris. They would come to the warehouses and buy it.
Okay. Okay, I see. So these warehouses are run by Phillip Morris, and all right. So we got interrupted there, but basically you were telling me how the Phillip Morris Company would run these warehouses, and they'd come out to your farm and basically buy tobacco from you.
Pretty much.
Okay. So is it like a standard price that they'd pay you, or was it more of a negotiation?
It's pretty much a negotiation.
Okay.
They'd look at it, how much you had versus the quality, and just different things like that.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense. And there were no other companies really. It's just Phillip Morris.
Mostly just Phillip Morris.
Okay. All right. All right. So they'd come and buy it up, and this went on for about 2.5 generations. And you negotiated based on its quality and just based on how well you're able to negotiate with these people.
Yeah.
Okay. And they'd pretty much buy it all up pretty consistently.
Yeah. Well, see, you grew it. You would get in contact with them, everything, give an idea of how many acres you would grow.
They'd tell you how much they'd need from you.
Yeah, pretty much. And you kind of get a backing before you put all your investment.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
And then once the season was over, you took it to the warehouse, and then they would come through, and all the farmers would be in the warehouse.
Okay.
And they would check it, grade it, and then make you an offer. You could take it or you couldn't take it.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Do you ever have a situation where like one farmer would grow way more and then kind of screw the other farmers by driving down the prices, or not so much?
No, not really.
Not really. So it was pretty. You'd say it's probably a pretty collegial environment then.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty easy going. It wasn't a big competition or anything.
No, I hear you. Okay. All right. So then what happened?
I can't remember exactly which year, but I might have been 14, 15.
Okay.
That's when talk of the tobacco buyout came around.
Okay. Now, who was? Was this an act? It would have had to been an act of Congress, right?
I'm really not sure.
Okay.
I mean, I really didn't get involved with the business part or the selling it. I'd stay away from that.
Okay.
But the basic idea was that they would pay small farms to quit growing. Right. That way they could more or less consolidate the crop to larger farms.
Basically, Phillip Morris was getting money from somewhere to consolidate the tobacco growers.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. All right. So how much? How much? So how much would they pay for this?
I really don't remember because the man that raised me, he pretty much took care of all that.
Okay.
You know, I was more or less the manager. You know, take care of the farm,
Okay.
the
Sure.
workers and everything, just that part of it, and let
Mhm.
him take care of the business part.
Okay. But you said it was enough to. It was enough to basically equal about 15 years worth of crops.
Yeah, I mean, oh, you're referring to the buyout.
Right.
Yes, the buyout. Yeah, it was enough to. It pretty much sets you good for the next 15 years to not have to grow anymore.
Amazing.
I mean, I guess they was looking at it long term. You know, buy
Mhm.
everybody out and consolidate, pay itself
Right.
off.
Tell me how this contract worked in detail.
Well, the main gist of it is, you know, they buy you out. You
Okay.
sign a contract not to grow tobacco. That way, you have the larger farms growing it, and they don't have to worry about the smaller farmers coming in trying to grow too and messing it up.
Right.
And you know, that's pretty much the basic, simple. Don't grow it. And I think we only signed for 20 years, something
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
So like after 20 years, you can continue to grow tobacco,
Yes, but
basically.
see, it was only in one name. So me personally, I could grow a small crop off to myself by
Oh,
myself,
okay, right, because you weren't a
but
signatory on the contract.
the money wise, you know, it wouldn't be
Yeah,
worth it
I see what you're
because
saying. Because now at this point,
large farms come
yeah,
in.
and there's no way that you can compete with them at this point. Would you
Yeah,
say?
the competition will be outrageous now.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because now, like when I was growing up, you'd have people, they would have just a small farm truck with a gooseneck trailer loaded
Mhm.
with bales of tobacco. They would take to the warehouse and sell it. And after the buyout, we don't have like individual people doing that. We have
Mhm.
uh, one farm, maybe 20, 30 Mexicans working on it, illegal Mexicans, immigrants,
Okay.
and they would work and they bail it by the semi loads and bring
Okay.
it in.
All right. So okay, I see what you're saying. Now you don't know if these plantations hire illegal immigrants.
Yeah, they're pretty much 99% of all of them are illegal.
Right. So I mean, okay. So you'd say that basically nobody works for these.
The large
Right.
farms, no.
Right. Okay.
All
So
these people,
what runs the economy now?
well, you know, when I was growing up, we had factories and we
Sure.
had all these farmers and everything. Well, the
Okay.
factories all went away to Mexico. And then the tobacco buyout.
Right.
So it's all illegal immigrants working there now.
Okay.
So, you know, my town's, it's just like every other small town in America now, it's a drug town.
All right. Okay. Well, we're still recording. Okay. Well, we got interrupted again. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna edit out all the gaps and the interruptions and stuff like that. I've got the software to do that. It's not a problem. So you're saying okay. So okay. So surely you still have jobs in Monroe County, right?
We have, like, there's 3 sawmills that,
Okay.
you know, they employ maybe 100, 200 people apiece, which
Okay.
really, that's not very
Right.
much.
It's really not.
And you have your little stores and everything, but other than that, there's nothing there. You have to drive 30, 60 miles to another town to have a job.
And is that what people do?
That's what some people do, but mostly,
Okay.
you know, everybody's druggies.
Oh
And
wow.
when I was little, you know, we didn't have to worry about crime and stuff as
Sure.
much. I mean, in the last, say, 5 years alone, we've had 10, 15 murders in the small little town we are.
Wow. Wow.
1 year ago, maybe a little over a year, we had an elderly woman chopped up over her
Amazing.
medication because
Because
that's
she
just
had
what.
a drug that somebody wanted.
Yes, that's what our town's become,
Amazing.
a drug town.
Amazing. And so I assume that you basically saw the transition of this.
Yes, I've witnessed it because I was
Well,
born and
how old
raised
are you
there.
now?
I'm 22.
Okay, so you're talking about a change over the span of about, what, 5 or 6 years?
5 or 6 years.
So
Yeah.
in 5 or 6 years, you went from a basic farming community that was pretty wholesome. People, everybody had jobs. Nobody was really on drugs. To within 5 or 6 years, there's probably how many people would you say are unemployed in terms of like percentages?
It's well over 70%.
70% unemployment.
Yeah.
And substantial drug use, crime skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Incredible. In
I mean,
5 to 6 years.
Oh, since I was in middle school, our law enforcement has doubled, city and county sheriff's department, city police department.
So that's where the employment's going now,
The National Guard
huh?
has been brought in, like with drug task force and everything.
Amazing.
There's actually talk of a new department for the Kentucky State Police being built in our area just because of the drugs.
Wow.
And we're so close to Tennessee, so we have a lot of illegal immigrants coming up from Tennessee, and we have their crime coming up.
Of course.
So, you know, it's really went down in the last few years.
Okay. Oh, you mean crime?
No, our town.
Oh, the
has really
town
went
has gone down. Okay, I thought you were saying that crime went down because of how much more they're spending on
No,
police.
I mean, I come from a small town where the police are crooked anyway, so.
Well, tell me a little bit about that. What do you mean when you say crooked?
Well, a few months back, the federal government came in, and our county sheriff's department was reprimanded, you could say,
Okay.
because they were growing a marijuana plant in the office, so quote unquote the public could see what it is. When we know a lot of the people in the sheriff's department, you know, have had drug issues.
Right.
Our constables and deputy sheriffs, some of them are convicted felons driving around in squad cars carrying weapons.
That's incredible.
We've had several police officers. One in particular, he was charges were brought against him for rape and child molestation.
Oh my God.
So, you know, I come from one of those small towns.
Okay. That is amazing. That is amazing. Okay, well, there's one more piece about this that I wanted to discuss with you, and that is, as you were telling me, once all those farms got bought out, the equipment that they had, as you were telling me before, is unsuitable for the large manufacturers, and they've all signed non-compete agreements, essentially, right?
Pretty much.
So, tell me about this equipment. Kind of describe what it's good for, and kind of describe to me how it's being used right now.
Well, like us, we have tobacco setters. You know, it's the machine that implants the tobacco at a certain distance from each other when you're
right. Okay,
when
so
you're planting your crop.
It basically causes it to spread evenly and to have plenty of space
to grow.
Yeah. Okay. And plants it in the right amount in the ground, as opposed to, so it's not too shallow, not too deep.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
And now that all the farms have been consolidated, and you're growing your real large crops, your tobacco setters now, they're like really huge.
Okay.
They set 10, 12, 15 rows at a time,
sure.
versus ours that set 2 to 4.
2 to 4.
Which was the average.
Is plenty for
a small farm.
But not nearly enough for a large tobacco grower.
Yeah, exactly. And there's hundreds, maybe thousands of pieces of equipment, because you have your tobacco setters, and then you have your turning plows that are just right to go in between the crop once it's growing. Then you have sprayers that's specialty made to go over top of the tobacco once it's more mature, to put insecticides and stuff on it. And all of this is really useless. Like ours is just sitting in a barn because it can't be used.
Right.
It is of no benefit to a large farm anymore. So it's just sitting there.
Huh. Wow. Amazing. All right. Well, how much would you say the retail value, not the retail value, but how much would, what do you think the asking price would be to purchase one of these items?
You could probably buy one of these setters between, you know, somebody that's just got it sitting around for $500 to maybe $2,000.
Okay.
Depending on
how much
what
would you
shape
say it would be worth new?
New, 5 or 6.
5 or 6 grand.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, you're talking about 1/10 to 1/3 of the original price.
Yeah.
Depending on probably how good a shape it's still in. Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
How it was housed when it's not being used and everything. And these are just setting now. And they've been sitting for a few years now because there's no use for them.
Okay. All right. Okay. So to sum up, it was a farming community, grew tobacco. Funding came from somewhere into the hands of Phillip Morris to buy up all the farms. It was a deal of a lifetime because it set these farmers up for the next 15 years. Within 5 years, unemployment went through the roof. Illegal Mexicans came in and worked for Phillip Morris. So nobody's working tobacco farms. There's a couple of sawmills. People have to travel about 60 miles to go to work a lot of times. Crime's gone through the roof. Drug use has gone through the roof. And now these pieces of equipment are sitting around not being used, and they could be picked up for about $500, $2,000 bucks, whereas they're worth about $5,000 or $6,000.
Yeah.
Okay. This has been a very informative interview. I appreciate your time, Mr. Murphy, and best of luck to you in your endeavors.